Hey everybody, it's Jack Rame again. It's nice to do another video. Shelly Manne and his men at the Black Hawk on Contemporary. What a group. These contemporaries are around. If you could find them in good condition, it might not be cheap. I wish they'd reissue these just great sessions. Shelly Manne was an amazing drummer. His time was just impeccable. Had a great group: Victor Feldman, Joe Gordon, Richie Kamuka, if I remember right. But a great group. Anyhow, a couple things today. I just wanted to get back and give you a report. Let's see here. I think I told you all a few weeks ago about this Frank Sinatra record on Wax Time. It's a reissue of In the Wee Small Hours. I think two sessions before this, I think I talked about how this is recorded. I was a little hesitant because of the label. I have a couple Wax Times, they were not good. This is real good. Sound is real warm. It's just done real well. The pressing's is good. It's really the first Wax Time release that I have. There are others, maybe they're good, maybe they're not. But man, the sound on this is just amazing. In the Wee Small Hours, it was done in the kind of early to mid 50s. Just a great recording. You can go back and listen to the other one if you haven't heard it already. I think it was 2 episodes before, but it's real good. And if you have even halfway decent equipment, it's going to sound real good. In the Wee Small Hours, Nelson Riddle did the arrangements. What else? You know, I was getting some things organized here a little bit better, a little bit differently. I bought a new cabinet over. You can't see it in the back of the camera here. That's what happens when you start buying vinyl. But you know, I pulled a couple of these out. It's a funny story about this particular recording. Quincy Jones. I bet a lot of you know Quincy Jones from the things that he's done later in life as a producer and arranger and writer and all sorts of things. He's got to have, I bet he's got probably 40 or 50 records under his name and probably another couple hundred with his name on them in different capacities. But early in his career, he's from Seattle originally, but early in his career, he recorded a bunch of big band things that are really, really interesting if you can find them. This is one. I'll tell you a funny story. It's a local record store to where I live. I walk in and I hear this record, and I said, "Man, that's the Basie Band." Well, he did a lot of writing for the Basie Band and played in the Basie Band, trumpet player. And I walked up to the fellow behind the counter and I said, "Is that record for sale?" Because they sell a lot of new things and a lot of good used vinyl. He goes, "No, it's not for sale." I said, "Well, why are you playing it?" Because, you know, people are going to walk in maybe and want it like me. I said, "I'd be happy to buy it from you." He goes, "No, it's not for sale." Anyhow, I got the name of it and went back and found a recording of it online and bought it. It's pretty good shape, but it's really it's really a throwback. And it's Basie Band, a lot of people. But the cool thing about this is Phil Woods is in this band. To my knowledge, Phil Woods never played in the Basie Band. And I love Phil Woods playing. Someday I'm going to do a whole video on Phil Woods. Got a lot of Phil Woods. Phil is on this. Zoot Sims is on this. Sam Woodyard, he was the drummer in Ellington's great bands. Jimmy Cleveland, Herbie Green, Melville Liston, Quentin Jackson, all Basie guys. Clark Terry, Joe Newman, Ernie Royal. These are all Basie guys on this band. It's a great band. And trying to remember when this is done. I'm guessing in the 60s sometime. But great players. The birth of a band. And it's a great. Some of these Quincy Jones things. There's another one called "This Is How I Feel About Jazz." This is kind of it's more, not a big band and not a small band. It's maybe 9 to 12 people on different cuts. But again, great players. Herbie Mann on this, Art Farmer, Gene Quill, Lucky Thompson. Phil Woods again is on this, on many tracks. Hank Jones. Hank's a great piano player. And this was on ABC Paramount. But I think this was a $25 record used, but it's in good shape and great playing. But you know, if you're into the Basie band, look up some of the older Quincy Jones things. They're superb, great playing, just great playing. What else? A couple other things. I found another recording. I can't remember this was like an all-star record on Contemporary. That Manny album, an arranger really did, and I bought this because Jack Sheldon's on it. We talked about Jack the last video. This just came a couple of days ago from, where did it come from? I think probably in the UK. Yeah, it's got a price tag from Bristol, $29.50 was the charge on this. So probably, you know, pounds, 29 pounds 50. Charlie Mariano's on here. I love Charlie Mariano's playing. Great Stu Williamson, West Coast guys. But this is called Jazz Lab Volume 12, but it was reissued in Contemporary. I can't remember what it was called. It was also Jazz All-Star West Coast name. I just can't remember it at the time. Connie Cadoli is on this. But it's a great recording, really clean, and this is on the MCA Choral label. It's a British pressing. I think it was pressed to Teldec, if I'm not mistaken. But it's just really good. Pressed to West Germany, Teldec, yeah. Really good. It's on Discogs. You can find this. A couple people have it. It's really good. Really great record. What else came? Oh, you know what? Another Contemporary I found online. This is an old, I believe it's the black, Deep Groove Contemporary recording of, again, Shelly Manne and his friends. Modern jazz performances of songs from My Fair Lady. And it's Shelly Manne, Leroy Vinnegar on bass, and Andre Previn on piano. I've got classical recordings with Andre Previn as a conductor of the London Symphony. Previn was a genius. I think he recently passed a year or two ago. But he plays piano on this, and he plays superb. What a musician. It's a great recording, just My Fair Lady tunes. But as you can tell, I really love Shelly Manne's playing. He's just a great player. And if you listen to interviews, we'll get that in a minute, with Mel Lewis and some of the other drummers, Jeff Hamilton, who I went to college with for a couple of years in Indiana University. Jeff's from Richmond, Indiana, and a great drummer. But he'll tell you what an influence Shelly Manne was in his playing. So I'm going to listen to this tonight. I just got it. I'm sure it's great, contemporary, great recordings. That's what this in the background that I played for you was playing. Another thing I picked up recently was Steps Ahead. If you remember, Steps Ahead was the forerunner to a lot of the fusion bands. It's very jazz oriented. Michael Brecker plays on this. Peter Erskine, who also was in Indiana when I was there, another great drummer. Eddie Gomez, Mike Manerius. Mike Manerius' brainstorm was Steps Ahead, and just a great Lane Elias on piano. A great group. Just really great. If you don't know who Steps Ahead was, I do have the CD of this. But a vinyl sounds better than a CD. I also have a video I found in Europe one time. I have a video player here that's will play about 6 or 7 different DVD, whatever they call them, different countries will play on this. And that European DVD plays on this of Steps Ahead. It's real good. It's recorded in Denmark. But it's a good, interesting thing. It's very different from what I have in the background here. It's a little more fusion-ish, but it's not. It's not outside music. I mean, it's really really great stuff. Steps Ahead. If you haven't heard of this band, check it out. Brecker, he's just a great player. A Blue Note came finally. This got released. This is a Tone Poet. I think who did the remix on this? Kevin Gray, of course. Coherent did this. Stanley Turrentine. Blue Mitchell's on this. I love Blue Mitchell's playing. McCoy Tyner's on this. Cranshaw, Mickey Roker on drums. It's a great group. I'm going to listen to that and My Fair Lady tonight. This just came out. You can find this around, either at the In Groove or that's where I get my stuff, or elsewhere. Just really, this is a great record. I hadn't seen this until it got reissued. I wasn't familiar with this. Maybe it was out with a different cover. I'm not sure. But Turrentine, he did a lot of his playing with organ. He did a couple things on CTI that are pretty schmaltzy, which is typical for CTI. But this is real good. I've heard some cuts off this. I can't wait to hear it tonight. Stanley Turrentine. Anyhow, that's it for records for this thing, but I do want to talk to you a couple of things. I thought about doing a video about how I clean my records, but, there's so many things online. I'm not going to repeat that, but I want to just show you something pretty interesting. I found my old dishwasher. This is the original one. They've redone this, and I think another company bought them, and then another company bought them, and now that one is out. I have it laying around here somewhere. The new one, it's not quite. This is real wood. I forget if it's maple or I don't know what kind of wood it is, but it's real wood. And I'll tell you what, things don't change. This is boy, I'll tell you this. I think I bought this, or I acquired this. Probably in the early 80s, 82, 80. 1980, I don't know, somewhere around there, and it's real wood. It's got the hole in the bottom where you can put your D fluid. This is D2 fluid. That's how old it is. Dishwasher, Columbia, Missouri. I could tell you some stories too about that company. It's it's for another time. But anyhow, it's all wood base. Check this out. And you put this is your stylus cleaner, and that folds up, and they just don't make, I hate to sound like the old guy here, but they don't make things like this anymore. That fits in there, and your cleaning fluid goes in here. I use other cleaning fluid. We'll talk about that in a second. And then this goes in here. But I found this. It's really cool. The original dishwasher. I think you could probably find them on eBay, maybe. I don't know. But it's really cool. Let's talk about YouTube for a minute. I'm on YouTube. There's a lot of people doing videos on YouTube about the subject that I'm talking about, which is basically jazz. Just some different people. I'm going to give you their names in a minute, the ones that I listen to and subscribe to. Keep in mind, if you're new, I got a couple comments of some people who said they were new to jazz, and those of you who have been around and listened to these kind of things, I think you probably know that, we all have different opinions about things, and some people like different players. I like Pat Metheny. I like the way, I love the writing and the stuff, and some of the, a couple other people that I listen to really don't like Pat Metheny, and that's okay. That's why, it's what makes the world go round. But it's good to listen to a lot of people, and it's good to learn. For example, I have a little cheat sheet here I'm going to read off. I listened to a fella named Dan, who has a YouTube channel called The Jazz Shepherd. Dan has a jazz collection that I would kill for. He's got all the old Blue Notes, Prestiges, just Argo's great, Bethlehem's great. I think he's got them all. And he's a wealth of information. Hope to maybe someday talk to Dan. He's a little younger than me, probably a little bit more younger than me, but he really knows his stuff, and you can learn. I learned so much from Dan, and Dan, if you listen to this, thank you. The Jazz Shepherd. Another gentleman I listen to is, I'll pronounce his name wrong, Ken McAuliffe, I think is pronounced his name. Ken, it's Mecallef. I think Ken works in a jazz record store in New York City. He also writes for Stereophile magazine. And again, Ken has a lot of information on jazz, and I would listen to him as well. He'll teach you a lot of things. I think Ken's information is good. Again, we don't agree on everything, but it's fun to listen to his version of life, and he's spot on most things that I think he's right with. But it's okay, you'll learn. You just have to check out other people. There's a gentleman that puts a lot of videos up of different jazz players, and he'll talk about them. Jazz Video Guy. Really interesting videos of great players. I don't know how he finds this stuff, but he finds it, and it's really good stuff. There's another duo. I can't remember their names, but they're in Los Angeles, and they do a YouTube channel called West Coast Jazz Hour. They probably have about 40 or 45, 46 interviews about different people, basically West Coast oriented people, but very interesting. So a guy by the name of Bob Bradley has some nice information on jazz. Michael Fremer is an audiophile writer, and is again very opinionated, and he knows a lot more than I know, so I can't argue with Michael, but he's really a great source of information on records, both classical, which I listen to as well a lot, and jazz and some other and rock, which I don't listen to a lot of rock music. But Michael is really a wealth of information. He's an analog guy. I think he owns some CDs, but and I have to tell you, in my opinion, he's really correct on why vinyl, in the right circumstances, will sell a lot better, will sound a lot better than compact discs in most cases. His YouTube channel is called The Analog Planet, Michael Fremer. Good stuff. What else do I have on here? And of course, I listen to the YouTube channels of the In Groove, which is a great record store. I'm dying to see it in Phoenix. They just opened up a new store, bigger store. I hear it's, from what they tell me on their YouTube stuff, is really great. But they're great people. Their shipping is great. Their packaging is great. Again, I don't get anything from them. I don't know them. I've never met the folks down there. Hope to someday. But they do a lot of videos. I think once a month they'll do a live chat, YouTube chat, and they're just again they're wealth of knowledge. Mike Esposito, I believe, is the gentleman who owns the In Groove. And again, Acoustic Sounds, which is in Salina, Kansas, that they do it all. They press, they sell, they produce. Chad Kassem is another guy to really pay attention to. So those are the kind of those are the folks that, some of the folks I listen to. I've been doing this for a long time, not as long as some of these other people. I've been in the music business for a long time, and had the pleasure of working for a lot of good people and with a lot of great musicians, some of which we talk about here. But I'm still learning about jazz. There's always something to learn. These folks will help you do that. And I hope you come back and listen to some more things that we'll do here. Until next time, again, it's Jack Graham, and thank you all for listening. Subscribe, and we'll look for you again. Bye-bye.